It's a two-part question. The first part, if elected, are you committed to sponsoring legislation that will restore control of schools back to the school board? Second part, what specific policies do you propose to improve education and ensure that all students have access to a high-quality learning environment? Mr. Spencer?
That's a great question, because Inglewood has that problem. Our school district been in receivership. Our school district been in receivership for 11 years. And nothing has happened. I love Steve. Steve wrote the bill to put our schools in receivership.
Yes, he did.
Now we went up there on the 16th to ask them to sponsor the bill to get us out of receivership. Steve didn't show up. What's her name? They don't show up. They don't show up. Like I said, we talk about education and giving it, and parents should have control of our schools. As far as education, better education, we should have a choice to send our kids to any school we want, because that is our taxpayers' money. We got to stop letting these Sacramento dictate to us what we have to do. We should be dictating to them what they need to do. They work for us.
Thank you very much. Mr. Mitchell, 50 seconds.
Thank you. I was on the El Camino board when we started, and we helped out Compton Community College. Compton Community College is not even next to us. They're over a little bit of, we were the only district to help out Compton Community College. But you know what we did? We said we want to make this as fast as possible. So we got in there, we helped them as much as we could, and then I'm proud to report that Compton Community College right now is flourishing, and that's what should be done with Inglewood, in the Inglewood School District. Give them what they need, let them flourish, and let them have local control. Because I've been on the Hawthorne School Board, and I know local control is the best kind of control. Thank you.
Woo.
Thank you. Ms. Chambers, you have 60 seconds. The second part? Sure. What specific policies do you propose to improve education and ensure that all students have access to a high-quality learning environment?
Thank you for that question. So for the first piece, I would just like to say with regarding the local control, as former council member, can you hear me? I'm sorry, can you hear me? As former council member for the great city of Compton, I understand the importance of local control. What I will do, though, it's important that we collaborate and work together. We must work with our localities to build affordable housing. We must work with our local economy, government to feed our economy. That's who improves those businesses. What we can do is continue to support further oversight. What that looks like is when the money comes from the state, that we work with our cities on appropriating those funds. Prime example, when the money comes from the federal government for infrastructure, comes to the state, comes down to our cities, we make sure we have project managers to oversee all those projects that's going on in our cities, such as repairing our streets, repairing our lights and our infrastructure. And as far as education, we have to invest in early child care, early childhood, starting from early on. Learning starts 0 on up. We have to invest in early child care. We have to include wraparound services for our students and continue to fund higher education projects.
Thank you. Ms. Williams, you have 60 seconds.
Yes, in terms of local control, of course I support local control going back to our school districts. As a matter of fact, I was endorsed by Parent Voices Action, and I was one of two, the only Democratic candidate that traveled to Sacramento earlier this month with Inglewood parents to advocate for a bill to bring sovereignty to our local schools. Because it's not right to see our state reap the benefits financially of our schools being in receivership and not give them local control. And so I'm proud to say that I've been standing with parents on this. Now, in terms of my proposals, again, transparency, equity, and accountability. We need to work on the funding model. Right now, the local control funding formula is really bad. It's broken. We need to fix that. And we need to have more equity in how we are addressing the fact that Black students are the most underperforming. So our local control funding formula does not account for that. And that's what I'm going to fix when I get to Sacramento. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Richardson, 60 seconds.
Thank you. Yes, I support returning the authority to the school boards for all of the unified school districts that we have in the state of California. Particularly, we've had this issue in our own district, both in Compton and also in Inglewood. What would be some of the policies that I would work on? I have voted on universal kindergarten. We should have that every student is able to go to kindergarten, not only here in California, but across the country as well. But take it a step further. I support universal pre-K. Students, young kids, starting at the age of 3, need to begin to be in an environment where they're working with other kids and beginning to learn very important skills. Other things I would do is reinstitute music, art, woodshop. We need to get back to the things that also motivate our students. And then finally, I think that the private sector companies that are benefiting and utilizing state funding need to provide mentorships and internships in the summer at their companies for our successful students. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Montero, you have 60 seconds.
All right. Actually, I have preschool for 3 and 4 year olds at university preschools for 15 years. And right now it's a state preschool. I went from grant to state preschool. So there is universal preschool already in California. And now kids can go to pre-K in any public school. I support public school. I support local control. And let me tell you about, I was on the school board for 12 years. And the local control form did work for low-income students, especially community of color. Because I saw an improvement in our school district. We create an academy for middle schools. We create a business academy, a STEM academy, and a fine arts academy. We gave the students in 6th to 8th grade opportunity to learn a trade, to make sure that they become entrepreneur, business entrepreneur. And that is what, when they go to college or to university, they already know what they want. And then the same thing happened, that our dependent chart, number 10 in California, number 54 in the nation, best high school in Harvard.
Thank you very much. Mr. Robles, you have 60 seconds.
Thank you. I'm a product of LAUSD. And as I said earlier, I got in trouble last night for using the F word, but our school system is effed up. LAUSD is too big, and it should be broken up. You talk about local control, LAUSD is a monster. It makes no sense that you have schools in diverse communities, underrepresented communities, and then you have schools at Pacific Palisades in LAUSD system, and you go to Pacific Palisades, and that school looks like it's a country club. And then you go to other schools in the inner city, they look completely different. Our school system is effed up. I worked for Congressman Dimely when Compton Unified School District was taken over. I supported the takeover.
Wow.
And Compton School District is better because of it.
No, it's not.
That's a fact. Now, Inglewood, has it been in receivership too long? Perhaps, but the hope is that in the end, Inglewood School District will also be better off once it comes out of receivership.
Thank you very much.
Get on.
And Mr. Lyons, you have 60 seconds.
So out of touch.
There is a 800-pound gorilla in the room. That's charter schools. Charter schools are challenging the authority and the power of local schools. So the question becomes, how do you basically bring balance back into the community? First issue is charter schools. They are undermining local schools. Now, on the other hand, it blows on the money. Now, on the money side, you have a situation in which you have kids who go to school with no shoes and no clothes. They're hungry. The problem goes to the home, and that has to do the families have a means of making money? So therefore, in terms of local control, I say that, again, the issue that has to be addressed is how do you basically corral charter schools?
He don't understand the issue. Thank you for
Thank you very much, and thank you for the panel.